Good morning, friends. Peggy Hall here with the Healthy American Morning Show. I'm so glad that you are here. I got off to a little bit of a late start today. I have a sick kitty cat, and I know that many of you are animal lovers as well. And I mentioned it once before. I would love to have any tips and insights that you might have. My senior kitty was diagnosed with kidney disease, and if you are aware of some of those side effects, there's not using the litter box, and then there's vomiting and constant hunger and losing weight. And it's so distressing to me. So I had to clean up a few things this morning. And I would love to know if you have in Southern California a kitty cat specialist that I could see for this. Oh dear. Thank you everybody for being here this morning. I need the support this morning, and that's why we're here, is to give each other positive encouragement and to add positive value to our lives. And this is a sponsored show. Today we're going to be talking about boundaries and respect. And I'm going to hop on over and give you a short message from the sponsor. And I'd like you to also think about, what is respect? What does that mean? How do I show it to myself? How do I show it to others? That's exactly what we will be talking about. So let me share my screen here and we'll hop right on over. And here we are. It is Glow with Peggy. Thank you everyone for the marvelous feedback on this product. As far back as history can track, humans have tried to reverse aging. We hate seeing our faces age. And while some solutions do work, most of them fall short. However, myself and thousands of others have successfully watched our skin look and feel younger. Our secret is called Glow with Peggy. This product seems to be the only anti-aging serum that really works. Out of the dozens that I've tried, three things have happened when I started using it. First, my skin appeared firmer. And secondly, my complexion brightened. And third, my skin has become softer and smoother. So take Glow with Peggy and get your glow back. And you can go to www.glowwithpeggy.com or click the link I'll have for you below, and you can get 38% off your order today. Let's talk about boundaries and respect. I would like you to think about, what does respect look like when you are respecting others? What does respect look like when you are respecting yourself? And I also want to, I'm going to end our call in a little bit. When I end the call a little bit, our video, I have this beautiful card that I want to share with you. So stay through the end, and I want to let you know this came from one of our Healthy Americans that is on board with us here. A big thank you to all of you who send me cards and letters, and I will have the link for you where to contact me as well. You'll have that below. So let's see who's on board with us today. Thank you, KP, being one of our moderators. I really appreciate it, keeping our stream flowing. Thank you, everybody, for taking just a moment to hit that thumbs up button if you find value in what I offer. You may need to minimize the chat window if you're on your phone, so that the thumbs up will show on your screen. Even at home, I've noticed on the desktop computer, you'll need to click in order for that to appear. All right. Great to see you, everyone. We've got Oklahoma. Let's see. Oh, Cheryl also has, I think we might have talked about that, Cheryl. Your kitty also has kidney issues. Yeah, a special food. My kitty is so particular, and they oh gosh, I guess I'm looking for a miracle, aren't I? Miracles do happen. All right, friends, what I'd like to talk about, all right, friends. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, KP, for being on board. I let Rhonda know that we're going to experiment, and we're going to be a little looser in the comment thread. So you can do the emojis, you can do the caps. I want to see what happens. I'm curious. I want to see if YouTube actually is going to take any action against that. I think mainly it's about what my content is. I don't think they care so much about the stream. I'm curious. So we're going to do a little experiment there. Thank you, everyone. Facebook. Okay, I'll do a Facebook group to see if I can find a support group for my kitty. Thank you so much. A reminder that we are here to talk about positive outlook and how to take every thought captive, and the information for all those exemptions and all that stuff. You can go right now to my religious exemption playlist if you want to hop off this live stream and get all of your education there, or you can go over to my website, which is thehealthyamerican.org. I've got tons of info for you, both free and stuff that you can invest in. Mandy switched from kibble and her numbers came back. Oh, that's good to hear. I am open to any and all ideas. I want to talk today about boundaries. And this is such an important aspect in our life. Basically, this is a way to live life authentically. What does that mean? It means that we are no longer going to do things just because we want other people to approve of us, to like us, to appreciate us, to not get angry. And we bend ourselves inside. What's that expression? We turn ourselves inside out. We bend over backwards in order to please others. And the fact is, at the end of the day, we don't have that ability to please others. Only they themselves are in charge of their emotions, just like we're learning about being in charge of our emotions. They're in charge of their thinking. We cannot be in charge of their thinking. And they alone have a choice and will choose what actions to take and not take. And we cannot control that. Isn't that a relief? You hereby are informed that you are not responsible for anyone else's feelings or happiness. Now, there are cases, of course, when we have loved ones who are dependent upon us. And I'm talking about dealing with capable adults. So all of my examples are related to that. We talked about having obligations to those that we love and even to ourselves, and to do it with a smile on our face and an outlook of appreciation and gratitude and love rather than drudgery and dreariness. We have to do it anyway, so why not enjoy it? That was been a game changer in my life. And then when it comes to respect, boundaries will help you develop a sense of respect for yourself and respect for others. If you are turning yourself inside out, bending over backwards in order to try to please someone, there are a couple things that can happen. Normally, that person's not going to be pleased anyway, because they may be controlling, critical, manipulative. And when you turn yourself inside out for them, they don't think that you're sincere, because they themselves, and I'm just giving you some examples, they themselves might believe that they are not worthy of taking control and giving them their own self-respect. They're looking for respect and approval from others. It will never be enough, ever. It's got to come from within. So when you're turning yourself inside out and bending over backwards in an attempt to make someone like you or make them feel better or make sure they're not getting mad or get their approval, it's never going to work. In fact, it will backfire, because they, believe it or not, are going to actually know that it is insincere. And you know that it's insincere. And that's where the lack of respect resides, when you are doing something not out of honesty and not out of respect. I gave a couple of examples yesterday of my epiphanies where I started at a very low level of voicing my desires and preferences and wants and needs, which are just as valid as anyone else's. What you want and what you need and what your dreams are and what your goals are just as valid as anyone else's. I'm not talking about, I did a whole show about being centered in yourself and how that actually is a good thing. And I'm not talking about neglecting those obligations that we talked about yesterday. When you start implementing boundaries in your life, and I'm going to give you a couple of simple examples, you start to live with self-respect, and others, you are respecting others because you are not going to leave them hanging. You're not going to agree to something because you don't have any boundaries. And then at the end of the day, you're like, oh, how can I get out of that? That's not very respectful. So think about what that word respect means to you. Think about how you show your self-respect and how you can, by extension, do actions that are respectful for others. So a lot of this has to do simply with understanding that you have a right to have boundaries, limitations, restrictions in your life. And when I use that word restriction, I gave an example of, for example, this weekend, I'm speaking at an event on Saturday, and then we have our beach church on Sunday. It used to be that on those days, I would try to jam pack in other things that people would ask me to do. Oh, since you're going to be up in the area, would you mind doing this? And would you be able to do that? And I would never say no because I didn't want to turn anyone down. But at the end of the day, I actually wasn't giving my best because I hadn't put a limit on my ability to give. And now I have imposed on my own self a limit of one event a day or one major activity a day. If I'm speaking or I've got a project that I'm working on, that will be my focus, because if I start to pile on more in an attempt, I suppose, to not let anyone down, then I actually end up letting myself down, and I might even let others down if I'm running in between appointments and I'm fatigued. And I don't get tired really, but there's a lot when you're giving and teaching and all of that. So when I created those boundaries and respected my own time and my own resources and my own ability to give and share and teach and do and travel, I actually was better. I was able to give more because I knew that I had set that aside and that was my boundary. And if someone else said, hey, can I get a private appointment? It's like, I'm sorry, I'm already booked that day. And that is treating my own self with respect. And I'm actually respecting others because I'm giving them my best and I'm not running ragged and wearing myself out. So that's an example of boundaries that have to do with respecting yourself and respecting others. When you start treating yourself with respect, people see that. And this is what happened with my mom. I had a lifetime of never saying no to my mom. She's my mom. I love her. Of course, I wanted to do what she wanted to do. But when I realized I didn't actually always want to do what she wanted to do, I wanted to do what I wanted to do sometimes. And there were times when there were hardships and she wanted to do something. It's like, that doesn't really fit in my schedule. I still am, but I was working quite a bit while she was still alive. And I would make time and I did make sacrifices. But after a while, I felt drained and I didn't like that I was doing it from a people pleasing stance instead of out of an authentic place that was coming from love. So I started small and I would do little things like, she wanted to walk farther. It's like, no, I'm actually, my dog is tired. That's as far as we want to walk. And here's the thing. I didn't impose my boundaries on her. I said, Mom, if you want to keep walking, that's fine. Teddy and I are going to turn around. You see, I couldn't control her, nor would I want to. And if she wants to continue walking, she can continue walking. That's her choice. And my boundary and my choice is I'm going to turn around and walk with Teddy back this way. And I did it. And the sky didn't fall and World War III didn't erupt. And even if it had, I would have learned from that and modified and adjusted and adapted going forward. But I felt really good about myself. It was like, wow, that was fine. I actually expressed my needs. I had boundaries. I had limitations. I had a time frame, and I met that, and I respected it, and I respected myself. Here's the interesting thing. I felt a shift that my mom respected me as well. And I noticed over the subsequent weeks and months and years that our relationship improved, and it was one of respect instead of one that was wrapped up in people pleasing and me trying to seek her approval and all of that. Was it 100% smooth sailing? No, we learn from our situations in life, but by and large, I felt better and I was able to conduct myself with dignity and respect. And I respected her as well. So it could have gone a different way. I could have said, Mom, you always are making us do whatever you want to do. And I don't want to do that anymore. And like, that was kind of strange too. Or I could have continued on the walk and I would have been reluctant and resentful and sighing and, okay, we'll walk farther. That's not good either. Why would I do that? That's not acting from a place of honesty or love or respect. So I respected myself. I respected my mom. Sure, you can go walk. As I mentioned, we just wanted to go this far. So fine, go right ahead. We'll wait for you over there. And Mama Lula asked us yesterday, what about when others don't have boundaries and they're not respecting your boundaries? I encourage you to read the book of Boundaries. It's incredible. And I'm going to give you a simple example that came from that book. So a husband and wife, and the wife was always late, and the husband, oh, it would drive him crazy. And he felt embarrassed when they showed up somewhere late. He tried everything. He tried giving her a deadline. He tried telling her a fake time to leave earlier. Do you know anyone that is often running late? And here is what he did. So he said, all right, sweetheart, we've got this event, and I'm going to be leaving the house at 10:30. And if you're not ready at 10:30, you'll need to go on your own because I will be leaving at 10:30. And this was the first time he expressed it. And there he's treating himself with respect. He's treating her with respect by informing her of this very politely, very calmly. There's no argument. There's no drama. There's just a statement. And he's treating the other party, or where he needs to be, he's treating that situation with respect because he's going to be there on time. So 10:30 shows up. The wife's not ready. He gets in the car and he leaves. Oh my gosh. She actually didn't believe that he was going to stick to his boundary. And she was incensed. She was upset. How could you have done that? And when it all turned around, he said, sweetheart, I told you I was going to be leaving at 10:30, and I did. And so you can either come with me or you can come on your own later. There's a little bit more to the story, but that's the basic premise. And it may have taken a few times before she actually was ready, because she knew that her husband was going to leave if she wasn't ready. I think that's very, very powerful. Now, we're talking about adults. The book goes into great amount of detail with kids and how to deal with that. Here's another example. Let's flip the script a little bit. Let's say that there's a husband and wife, and the husband is prone to getting a little tipsy when they are out with friends or out to dinner or what have you, and the wife does not like it. She doesn't like what happens when her husband drinks. She cannot control what her husband does, just like the husband could not control the wife being ready. It's beyond his control. It's not possible. So the wife respectfully has a conversation with the husband and says, sweetheart, there are times when we are out and I'm uncomfortable when you have had your third or fourth drink. And this is a situation that I don't like to be in. And I would ask you, not even ask you. I love when we're out and you haven't had more than whatever the number of drinks is. But if that's the case and I'm uncomfortable with your drinking, I just wanted to let you know that I will be leaving. And because I don't want to be in that situation. So just wanted to inform you. And that's setting your boundaries with a loved one. You cannot control. You see, you can't say, I don't want you to drink more than 3 drinks. That's not going to work well, because you don't have the ability to control what someone else does. And that is really not treating them with respect. That's treating them like a child. So you tell them what you're going to do. So I just wanted to let you know that if this happens in the future where I'm uncomfortable with the amount that you're drinking and your behavior, I just want to let you know that I will be leaving. I'll either take an Uber or I'll take the car and you can take an Uber, but I just wanted to let you know in the future. There likely ensued a whole conversation about that, but the spouse stated her own boundaries. And when the event happened and the husband was drinking and the wife was uncomfortable, she left. She respected herself. She respected her husband. And that's a very, very simple snapshot of how boundaries work. So I hope that's helpful for you, friends. Think about a situation where you could implement setting a boundary that shows respect for yourself, respect for others, informing them of the boundaries, and then following through on the boundaries. Now, there may be fallout from those situations. You may have an angry spouse that comes home, or the one that didn't get in the car at 10:30, but you calmly state that this is how you're going to be operating, and they're welcome to join you in this or do their own thing. Again, I'm giving you a very, very surface view of this, but my overall advice is to read the book Boundaries. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about boundaries and freedom. And I thank you so much for being online with me today, friends. I want to close out with this beautiful card. And this came from Gabrielle. And she said, to Peggy and Pastor Dave, you are earth angels sent by God to guide us and lift our spirits. And I am beyond grateful. to our Creator for your guidance and complete dedication. I was finally approved after a long month of waiting for both of my exemptions. Just when I was completely exhausted from all the stress, I decided to listen to Stop the Spin Cycle. So that's here in this playlist of the Healthy American Morning. On the Healthy American Morning, this completely renewed my perspective. And it was the day that I received the joyful news that I had been waiting for. Now I am an avid listener of the Healthy American Morning every morning. Hi, Gabrielle. Thank you for being on board. And this gives me the positive mental outlook heading into work. Your several hours of long mentor calls and all of the resources in the religious exemption concierge program she's talking about were above and beyond priceless. I am forever appreciative for this guidance and for your faithful, honest work. I am thankful to have found True Hope Ministry. That's my husband's ministry. Not only have my prayers been answered, but my faith has been strengthened through this experience and has made me consider an infinite amount of possibilities. I hope to one day be able to attend Beach Church and meet both of you in person. God bless. Thank you, Gabrielle. That just really warmed my heart. And I'm going to be reading an encouraging card every day. That's going to be my new thing here at the Healthy American Morning. I'd like to sign off and let all of you know, and I want you to feel that encouragement as well. That really does my heart a world of good. And I want to thank all of you for being on board with me. I appreciate your advice with my kitty cat, which I'm going to attend to. There's my obligations that I do out of love with my kitty cat. And I will be back with you at 3 p.m. Peggy to the rescue. It might be a pre-recorded show. I'll let you know depending on how things are going with my little Elsie. And her name is Elsie, L-C for Lewis and Clark. That's her full name is Lewis and Clark. We call her Elsie because she is an adventurer. She's the most adventurous cat I've ever seen. This is a little kitty cat that I saved and rescued from Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans back in 2005. And I brought back several cats and kittens to find homes for that had been abandoned. And we kept two of them, Elsie and Itty Bitty. Itty Bitty's going strong. And my little Elsie needs some TLC. And that's what I'm going to give her. Thank you, everyone, for sharing the video, for liking the video, for letting others know about the Healthy American Morning. A big thank you to the wonderful moderators. I could not do it without you. And a big thank you to all of you, Healthy Americans. I've told you before, I'll tell you again, you're smart, savvy, supportive, and I appreciate you adding positive value